Welcome, everyone. I'm Donita, the founder of Moog, a mother and a childbirth educator. And I'm truly honored to be here today for this important conversation: the importance of seeking physical help and addressing myths and stigmas around seeking support. This session is a part of Hera's journey to bring honest, nuanced conversations into spaces where women, parents, and families make decisions, not just about their bodies, but about their well being, relationships, and everyday lives. At MOOC, we work closely with women and families in the most intimate, tender phases of life, from pregnancy to postpartum recovery. And what we see over and over again is that one of the most radical things a person can do in these times is to ask for help and accept help when given. But asking for help isn't always easy. Many of us have grown up believing and internalizing that good mothers, good women, and parents should handle it all by themselves without any complaints. That if you need rest or support or space, you're somehow not doing enough or you're somehow not doing it right. In this session, we are going to gently unpick those beliefs. We look into cultural stories that hold us back, the physical and emotional realities of postpartum life, and the power of building a strong, practical support system around you. Let's begin. Why this topic matters so much in your pregnancy, your birthing journey, and your postpartum journey. Let's understand a few of the cultural beliefs that we've held within us because of the way we were brought up. We've seen mothers, aunts, grandmothers, all women around us somehow doing it all at once and still not asking for help. There has not been much physical support that we've seen given to mothers and women in our families. A lot of our traditions and cultural beliefs rely on gender roles. One of the reasons why caregiving, nurturing was all a part of the woman's responsibility. While she worked in office, she worked at home. She did it all so seamlessly that asking for help never came naturally to them. Let's explore how these cultural pressures, myths, and guilt stop us from seeking this support we need and how we can change that in our journey. Like we spoke about the cultural belief systems that we've had, many of us grew up watching the women in our families do everything without asking for much support. What does that mean? That society around us has always praised perfection. That you need to be a perfect mother, you need to be a perfect parent, you need to be a perfect wife, daughter, etc., and not ask for help. We've praised endurance and we've praised silence, as if asking for help was never natural to anyone. What are some of those thoughts that come to you when you think of asking for help, especially during your pregnancy, birthing, and your postpartum period? Let's take a moment to understand, when was the last time we asked for help? When was the last time you asked someone to help you with something? How did that make you feel? In the generations before us, a lot of these caregiving, nurturing roles were only held by mothers. Why? Because we had rigid gender roles. In the generation before us, much to do with the role of nurturing, caregiving was taken on by the women of the family. Why? Because gender roles were rigid. In today's new age and today's time, where both partners are earning, they both are going to work, they both want to give time to their family, they both want to raise kids by themselves, there's a sort of shared pressure that they feel. It's not just about one person anymore. It's both partners who feel that they need to be supported better in this period. The second pressure that we constantly see is that of social media. Social media can be extremely overwhelming. You're seeing parents who are able to do it all. You're seeing mothers bouncing back to their previous bodies after childbirth. You're seeing them do their 9 to 5. They're managing children. Their children are having good sleep routines. They're also getting a lot of rest. These all sort of create a very idealized concept of the postpartum period, which may not be your reality. And social media idolizes these homes, these perfect homes, these smiling babies, these flawless recoveries that may not actually exist in real life. What is the reality check? Postpartum is real. It is messy, it is raw, and you definitely need to seek help during this period. So let's look at what actually postpartum looks like. When you talk about the physical aspects of postpartum recovery, we see that there is extreme fatigue in parents. It can be for a number of reasons. Sleeplessness is one of them, but there is also so much of mental energy that goes into taking care of a newborn and taking care of oneself and to figure it out, because all of this is just happening for the first time. For second-time parents, this fatigue may be related to also caring for an elder child, as well as caring for a newborn. There's bleeding, you're recovering from stitches, there's a lot of breastfeeding pain if you're not doing it right. Emotionally, it may, for new parents especially, it may be a period of extreme anxiety, because every time you do something, you feel that, are you doing this right? Is this correct? Is there another way to do this? Why is my child crying so much? There's a lot of information and misinformation around you that leads to a lot of overwhelm, and for a mother to deal with that identity shift that has happened overnight. That too can be emotionally straining. The third is the hormonal changes, the hormonal shifts that a mother experiences after childbirth. It's like a mountain that went up and is suddenly crushing down with all these different things that are going to happen. Your body is resettling itself in every way possible. And that doesn't happen over a period of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It is happening in a period of 24 hours, 48 hours, and so on. And these shifts can actually cause a lot of mental stress to a mother. The fourth being the mental load, the things you need to get done and the things you need help in getting done. This will simply mean, when's the next vaccine? Are the breastfeeding pumps and parts clean? If you have an elder child, it may also highlight the need for being in their, paying attention to their academics. Are they doing well? Is their health proper? All of this is nothing but a mental load that a lot of mothers carry postpartum. Over 50% of new mothers experience significant physical and emotional stress in the first 6 weeks postpartum. Keeping this in mind, let's move on to the next part of our webinar. What are the other stress factors that may lead to overwhelm during a postpartum period? One of them is, of course, like we spoke, bouncing back. This entire concept of bouncing back after birthing, as if it was an overnight thing and nothing really changed in your body. The second is return to work, where you are expected to perform the same way that you did before childbirth. Interestingly, a lot of people note down the kind of physical changes a mother goes through through her period of pregnancy and childbirth and postpartum. But do you know that a mother's brain actually rewires itself completely when she becomes a mother? So adapting to that new brain must be difficult. And then getting back to work and being that efficient at work may get difficult. The third being productive. You need to get everything done. There has to be everything in the house has to be clean. Everything has to be done in a proper way, etc., etc. In your postpartum period, multitasking can actually be counterproductive. It is better to look at things in its own, to give yourself that grace and time and to go slow in your postpartum period. But in our today's world, where everything is so fast-paced, where is the time to rest, relax, and receive and heal during your postpartum. I invite you to think a little on this. I want you to think, when was the last time you didn't feel guilty about resting? I recently read something that I've never seen a restful woman. And I want to ask yourself, when was the last time I rested? I rested in my complete entirety. When did I let go of things that I don't need to get done right then and there? Physical recovery for a woman can take from 6 to 12 months. Did you know that when you birth a child, there is a wound as big as a dinner plate that is formed inside your uterus? That is for the placenta. And for something like that is existing inside your body. Imagine if it was external and people could see it. Wouldn't they force you to rest? This is one of the most crucial reasons why we expect mothers to actually rest in their postpartum stage and to let your body heal in its own pace. It also takes longer for women to recover emotionally. And this is not a period of 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years. It can go even beyond 2 years. Keeping all of this in mind, let's now move on to see some of the myths that are associated with asking for help during our pregnancy and postpartum period. So some of the myths and thoughts that we hear around us and some things that we've internalized so much in our journeys is one of them is, if I ask for help, I failed. Because probably somebody around us never asked for help, which is why it makes us feel that if we ask for help, we may be failing in the process of becoming a parent. A good mother, a good parent never complains. Like we spoke, that we've glorified endurance, we've glorified suffering. So if I complain, I'm less of a mother, and I do not want to sacrifice for my child. The third one being, because I don't know why is this so difficult, I think I should know what to do. Probably not. Just like anything else in this world, you are supposed to learn parenting. You're supposed to learn birthing. You're supposed to learn what happens. And this is a practice. This is an everyday thing that you're going to learn for the rest of your life. It is a journey of learning, and probably you may not know everything that will be happening over a period of time. These are myths, not facts, and definitely not the rules. Now that we've discussed the type of myths that exist around us, and these were just a couple of them, and there are innumerable myths that surround us in an everyday life regarding pregnancy, birthing, and postpartum, let's look at the impact of these myths. What do those myths even cost us? 1 in 5 mothers in India experience postpartum depression. What does that mean? In a room of 5 mothers, one of them has postpartum depression. Let me also translate it further. According to the statistics, 22% of women in India face postpartum depression, which means roughly 60 lakh women suffer from postpartum depression. And what is one of the major risk factors that lead to postpartum depression is nothing but lack of physical health around them during this period. What it eventually leads to is, of course, mental health consequences. There's a lot of stress in their relationship with the partners, and there's delay in physical recovery, which then, of course, leads to further mental health stressors and emotional stressors. In what ways can someone actually ask for help physically? And what does it actually mean? Postpartum is a very tender period. It can also cause a lot of strain amongst relationships. Why? Because there's a lot of the fatigue, the unsaid asks that you may have, the sort of resentment you may face against your partner. All of this can lead to a strained relationship. Physical help can actually help you solve this and help you have better relationship with your partner during your postpartum period. What does that mean? It means that you can simple things such as holding the baby when you can go and take a shower, cooking meals for yourself, the partner accompanying you to a medical checkup, or also somebody, a professional, teaching you how to breastfeed. In a very recent conversation that I had with one of an expectant mother, she asked me, how can I prepare my partner better to help me during my postpartum? What are the things he can do so that I don't feel overwhelmed? And my response to that mother was, except breastfeeding, your partner can do everything. So that is the logic when it comes to actually asking for help. Somebody, either your partner or the village that you trust, people that you trust can actually help you recover faster in your postpartum period by physically being there to help you. In some of the countries, there's this concept known as the food train, where before a mother gives birth to a child, when an expected couple is going to become a parent, they approach all their close friends and they give them tasks that they have to do every single day after they give birth. So each of them will actually cook the 3 meals that the mother and the father may require on one particular day. So each of the friends are assigned a single day to come and deliver home cooked meals, healthy meals for the parents. What does this do? It takes away the stress of having to cook for oneself, and it helps and it encourages you to eat healthy and home cooked meals instead of ordering from spaces that may not actually aid your postpartum recovery well. Let's take a moment to now list down what you think your partner can do and can help you in your postpartum period. And if not your partner, some family members who you will be living with, and how can they help you better in your postpartum period. Let's also look at how physical health can also support relationships around us. We've discussed the kind of relationship tensions that one may have between themselves and their partner after childbirth. And that may be because of various reasons, just like the ones listed. What it also means is that a partner is also able to then help you create a space for physical recovery. As simple as helping you go down for a walk, helping you attend your postnatal yoga classes, helping you in your physiotherapy and your activities to strengthen your core. It also means that when you have a better communication between yourself and the partner, it also can lead to a smoother transition to your parenting life. How can you achieve that? It is through shared roles. Let's list down what are the few things that you and your partner can share during the first few weeks of postpartum. What are the sort of roles you see yourself doing, how can your partner contribute in your recovery during your postpartum period? Now that we've spoken of the type of physical help that your partner and your family can provide, let's also focus a little on the type of professional help that you can seek during your pregnancy, birthing, and postpartum period. The first one being having a doula by your side. Who is a doula? A doula is a practitioner who helps you birth in the most natural way possible and supports your decision and helps you find power in your birthing. When you're at a hospital, you will constantly have at least 2 to 3 doctors who on their shift basis will be visiting you. You will have multiple nurses looking at you, taking care of you. But a doula is this one person who will be there through your birthing journey, right from the time that you're at the hospital to the time that you've given birth. They're also responsible to initiate breastfeeding and help support you start a successful breastfeeding journey. Doulas are there to not only support you while giving birth, but they're also there postpartum to help you recover better. Did you know that having a doula by your side can reduce chances of having a C-section by 30%? Second professional who will be there or who can be there to help you recover better in your postpartum are lactation consultants. Breastfeeding, like anything else, is a learned skill. Your child is learning as well as you are learning to feed. A breastfeeding consultant will help you, or a lactation consultant will help you establish a successful breastfeeding journey. The third professional that you can look at are pelvic floor physiotherapists or physiotherapists who specialize in pelvic floor recovery. Your body has given birth. The organs inside your body have rearranged themselves to help you accommodate an entire human being. In your recovery period, your body is rearranging these organs back to its place. There's been a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor. A lot of mothers who come to Moog also complain that they've been having consistent back pain. They are having a lot of issues with they have urine leaks when they are either sneezing or laughing. All of this is not because you gave birth. All of this is because we need to seek help in recovery. A physiotherapist will be able to help you strengthen your core and your pelvic floor muscles and help you recover in a very efficient way. Then, of course, while we're taking care of our physical self, there are mental health therapists who specialize in postnatal care during postpartum. This is when you want to seek professional help for your emotional needs. And last but not the least, being also infant massage educators. In India, we have a tradition of having support or having outsiders who are sort of specialized in giving infant massages. But none of those practices are evidence-based, nor do they have any scientific basis. It is important to then, as parents, educate yourselves in infant massage training. What it helps you is to build a bond between yourself and the baby, as well as it caters to the baby's socio-emotional development. All of these professionals who are there, they are a part of your village, a village that you can build. They are there mostly for you, to help you in your journey and to help you really feel empowered in your birthing journey. These professionals hold extreme amount of knowledge. They are trained and they are trained through practice. They have the most amount of patience and they understand your needs during your postpartum period. And most importantly, unlike a lot of people around us, they do that without judgment. So if you want to ask for having a pizza while you are in your active labor, a doula will help you get that pizza for yourself. Families often mean well, but most times actually, they lack the time, the skill, or the emotional availability for you as a mother. Now that we've known who can be your village, let's start building it. Let's start looking at a few things that we can pick up from today's session. Write down who can support you during this journey right now. Who are those few people you can identify and trust with your care during your birthing process as well as your postpartum? They can be anyone. They can be your doula, they can be your partner, they can be a friend or a family member. Next, you need to also write down what you think your needs will be in that period. What are the things that you absolutely require during that period? Let me give you an example. That will simply mean that you want to go down for a walk for 10 minutes by yourself every day. So who will be responsible to then care for the child during that period? You can also write down if there is a certain thing that you want to do during your postpartum period, as simple as booking a nutritionist appointment. You can appoint someone else to do that for you. This is something that you may be doing now or later, or as and when you're in a postpartum period, or as and when you're getting closer to your birthing experience. But let's do one small thing this week. Can you ask for any form of help from someone you trust this week? Let us get comfortable with asking for help. Let us normalize asking for help in this process. So to wrap up this entire session that we've had so long is to understand that you're not alone and you don't have to do this alone. You have a village. You need to identify your village and express your needs to that village. Let us now wrap up this entire session that we've had together today. First one, that you're not alone and you don't have to do this alone. You have to identify your village and you have to assign your needs to that village. Asking for help is a sign of strength and not of failure. So we need to normalize asking for help during this period, especially during this period. Postpartum healing is physical and emotional and also social. You have faced an identity shift. A lot of relationships around you had changed. and hence healing has to be holistic. Seek professional support, especially in your postpartum period, because professionals are here to support you and not judge. And it is us who have to break the silence. The more we talk about it, the more we normalize asking for help. And the more we talk about it, the less we normalize silence. As we close this session, I want to thank you, not just for showing up today, but for being a part of a deeper truth that no one was meant to walk this journey alone. The belief that strength comes from silence or self sacrifice is deeply ingrained in many of us. But true strength, it lies in being honest about your needs, in accepting support, in building a village, even if that looks different from the traditions that tell us otherwise. At Moog and here at Hera, we believe that care is not a luxury, it's a right. That asking for help isn't a sign of failure, but it is a sign of wisdom. When we shift the narrative around support, we are not just changing individual experiences of motherhood. We are reshaping what society allows women, parents, and families to expect. Thank you for being a part of this shift. We are here to walk alongside you as you build not just a birth plan, but a recovery plan, a support plan, and a life plan that honors your body, your heart, and your future.